Just like everybody else who watched the trailer for this film for the first time, immediately thought it was AI slop, knew it was going to be terrible, an obvious candidate for a January movie. Surprised that it didn't go straight to streaming, but surprisingly, I was a little shocked by how entertained I actually was during this movie. It kind of fell off in the last act. The last 10-15 minutes get pretty outrageous, pretty ridiculous. But the first probably 45 minutes to an hour of this film, I was like, especially the first 15 minutes, I'm like, gee, this isn't that bad. I'm actually pretty engaged in this story and in solving this mystery that Chris Pratt's character is also trying to solve. So in this movie, we have Chris Pratt, who plays Detective Chris Raven, and he wakes up in a chair. 95% of this movie is him in this chair, and he wakes up, he doesn't know why he's there. He is charged with the murder of his wife, so he has 90 minutes to prove his innocence through all these resources that are given to him by this AI judge played by Rebecca Ferguson. He has access to emails, to private phone calls, private emails, text messages, Instagram, anything you can ask for, he has access to in order to help prove his innocence. And that's where this movie is extremely similar to something like Searching or Missing, which came out a few years ago. And this is honestly what makes the movie really engaging, really intriguing in not only the premise, but you are actively trying to figure out, if he's innocent or not with him. You're going through all the evidence, all these text messages that he has access to, video footage, and you're truly kind of on the edge of your seat, like just entertained. And that is what mainly shocked me the most, was just how invested I was in this story, in Chris Raven proving his innocence, because it is pretty obvious that he is innocent. I probably figured out who the killer was, who actually killed his wife, probably about halfway through the movie, I would say. You do find out in the last 15 minutes. And that reveal isn't anything crazy. This is when the movie just kind of goes completely off the rails, outrageous, and why? It just doesn't really make any sense. It does take place in a futuristic sci-fi society based in LA. And with those sci-fi elements, it does also kind of feel like Minority Report. A lot of it kind of reminded me of RoboCop as well, just that futuristic element that it has. They have this hovering police bike that one of these police officers uses many times throughout this film, and she's just flying through LA, going through downtown, being able to see what's on the ground and all this, and you're following her, and it's just kind of that whole vibe. He also got blacked out the night before, and he doesn't remember anything, or claims to, for the first little bit of this movie, and I was like, yeah, I've been there. But this chair that he does find himself waking up in is called the Mercy Program, and this is what allows people on trial to prove their innocence instead of going to an actual trial with jury and all that kind of stuff. And this is just a ploy basically to bring down the crime rate in LA. And this movie is extremely fast paced, which not only helps with keeping you engaged in the movie, in this mystery that our main character Chris Raven is involved in, but also in making a movie that is 95% of Chris Pratt sitting in a chair entertaining. And if it wasn't fast paced, this movie would have been much, much worse. It also appeared that this movie was trying to keep you on your toes in the fact that they want you to believe Chris Pratt is the killer. No, wait, he's not the killer. Oh, wait, he is. And kind of go back and forth, much like something like Begonia did last year, which it did extremely well. This movie does not do that. You know it's not Chris Pratt from pretty much the first 5-10 minutes, but you do want to know who did it, who did kill his wife. And a lot of that digging, that investigating that Chris Pratt's character does do, it is thrilling, and Rebecca Ferguson also helps to enhance that as well, as she does play this AI judge who's assisting him with all of this, helping him prove his innocence through all of her resources. And not only that, but she's also kind of nagging him at the same time, letting him know how much time he has left to prove it. And there's also a scale that is a percentage of how guilty this judge thinks he is. It starts at 94%, I believe. 98 is the highest it can go. So she keeps on reminding him. So as the time's running out, she keeps letting him know this, and also not only bringing down this percentage when he does find a lot of these clues and a lot of these things that are proving his innocence, she still refuses to bring this percentage down, which kind of adds to that thrilling aspect. But it was also a little frustrating because it's at one point we have known who the killer was for a very long time now, but now he's actually proven it with security footage and all this different stuff, and she refuses to put the percentage down, and you're just like, come on, what are we doing? Rebecca Ferguson being this AI judge though also helped a lot with the movie, because she is incredible. I think she is an amazing actress, and just her presence, her being there, added to the movie for me. But Chris Pratt, he was okay. I mean, he does his normal Chris Pratt thing. I think a lot of times he's trying to evoke this anger, this certain emotion that just kind of seems a little silly to me, at least. But he is an absolute movie star, so there's a lot of presence there that he adds to the movie as well. Just certain times I was like, just kind of got a little cheesy, maybe. And when this ending, when this reveal finally comes, it's not really shocking. It's not really absolutely mind-blowing or anything like that. And it does get ridiculous because it really kind of turns into this whole different type of movie at the end where the reveal is something so big, and it's just, like I said, it just doesn't really make any sense. The motivation for this killer is a little ridiculous in what he does, what he's been doing to build up to this reveal. And his motivation ends up being just something that's been done so many times before, not only in these types of movies, really, like mystery thrillers, all that, but in Scream, whodunits like that. It's a very, very overused trope for a motivation, and I was just like, come on. And I also don't know if this movie was trying to actively comment on social aspects that we have with AI nowadays and all the stigma around it and what it can be, what it can become. Is it going to ever gain a consciousness? If they did a pretty weak job at that. But with Rebecca Ferguson's character, they also do something that almost every other movie about AI has done in just humanizing this character. She kind of goes against her program at the end of this movie, and it's just like, it just feels cheap. It just doesn't feel authentic. Like, of course this is going to happen. You can see it a mile away. It's not shocking, it's not surprising, and it's not really thought-provoking. So yeah, overall, I was generally surprised how much I was engaged and entertained and thrilled by the first parts of this movie. Sitting along with Chris Pratt, almost sometimes feeling like you are in the chair with him. You're analyzing the screen and going through every text message, every video, every email that he's going through, trying to put together these pieces in your head along with Chris Raven. And that part was generally entertaining, but it does fall off the edge. It gets outrageous in the end. But still, I think it's a solid January movie. I also could see this movie just going straight to streaming on Prime Video. It is an Amazon Studios movie, but I know it does have Rebecca Ferguson, Chris Pratt, all that star power. But still, this really, really feels like a streaming movie even while watching it. But as far as January movies go, I would say it's pretty decent. Although this January we've had some pretty solid movies so far. So I would definitely wait to stream this. I'm sure it's going to be on Prime in the next month or so. Overall, I'm going to give this movie a 6 out of 10, just barely being a positive review. But that's pretty much it. I appreciate you guys. As always, my name is Zach. Later.